Okay, students, now in this video, we will talk about the questions related to the cellular respiration. So the first question, describe using redox reaction, redox equation, how organic molecules are oxidized to produce energy in the catabolic pathways. So first of all, you should know the meaning of the redox and the catabolic pathways. So redox is like any reaction where both oxidation and reduction are happening at the same time. Oxidation and reduction processes are happening at the same time. Such reactions are called as redox reactions. Oxidation mean, you can say, loss of electrons, while reduction mean gain of electrons. If you are not sure about the electronic states, so you can go for example, oxidation is loss of hydrogen, so that's another way. While reduction is addition of hydrogen or gain of hydrogen. If you are still not sure about this, you can look for oxidation is addition of oxygen, while on the other hand reduction is loss of oxygen. So this is how it works. You can go for any option out of these three, and then you can decide if the reaction is oxidation or reduction. So we will go with the diagram below illustrates a an reaction since electrons are being whatever. So we look into this diagram, we have so many hydrogens here, we can see, but when the reaction is completed, we don't have any hydrogen over here. So of course it's the loss of hydrogen. So it's over here, it's the loss of hydrogen. So of course the reaction is going to be oxidation, and we can say electrons are lost over here. I will just do, okay, so this is oxidation. Since oxygen is already here, you can't decide if the oxygen is added or no, but yes, you can decide hydrogen is lost. So this is oxidation and the electrons are lost as per the definition. Go to the second diagram. The diagram below illustrates the same question, but now here we don't have hydrogen, but here the hydrogen is added. It's addition of hydrogen, that's over here, and that's why this will be called as reduction. Okay, and reduction is a gain of electrons. So answer will be the first one. I missed out one of the concept over here, that's the metabolic pathways. So if you remember, like metabolism is of two types. So either it can be catabolism, or on the other hand it can be anabolism. So just make sure, catabolism is the breakdown, while anabolism is the building up of the larger molecules. Identify the two mechanisms through which ATP is produced during the process of the cellular respiration. One mechanism is oxidative phosphorylation, and the second mechanism is substrate level phosphorylation. So the quite simple difference between them, like the oxidative is when you involve oxygen, and that's taking place in only electron transport chain, and we know that phosphorylation is the addition of the phosphate. So like it's the addition of phosphate in the presence of oxygen, and that's only taking place in the electron transport chain. We have also studied about the photophosphorylation, and in the photophosphorylation we studied like there is addition of phosphate in the presence of light. While on the other hand, there is substrate level phosphorylation when the oxygen is not involved, and you get energy directly from the molecules like glucose, like pyruvate. So you need to take the oxygen, you need to produce energy from here. While in the oxidative phosphorylation, the ATP is produced from NADPH or FADH2. So these are the energy carriers. So we produce energy from the energy carrier molecules. Which process is shown in the diagram below? Like you can see over here, you are producing ATP from ADP. So this is phosphorylation. So and over here we don't have any ATP, sorry, we don't have any NADPH here, we don't have any FADH2 here. So this is substrate level. It's not photophosphorylation, right? It's not photophosphorylation, it's not photolysis. Photolysis was when H2O is split into oxygen. That's what we said, it's a phosphorylation for photolysis. Okay, now we move to which of the following process most directly generates the greatest amount of ATP? Greatest, like the largest. So of course, the largest amount of ATP is produced in the electron transport chain. We know it already. Or the oxidative phosphorylation. So any option given to you, you can go for that. Now we will go to the which of the following process is responsible for production of greatest amount of ATP? Okay, same question, but now as I told you, oxidative phosphorylation is also known as ETC. So here they change the option electron transport chain with oxidative phosphorylation. By the way, remember that substrate level phosphorylation is two mechanisms, that is glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Okay, and the net ATP produced in both of these cycles is 2 ATP. So 2 ATP over here, 2 ATP over here. You remember, like the glycolysis produces actually 4 ATP, but 2 ATPs are used. So that's why we say net is 2 ATP, 2 ATP. While the greatest amount, like which is nearly 32 ATP, there is a range, sometimes they say 28 till 30, 32. So you can go for 32 ATP molecules are produced. Describe using a diagram, preview the 4 stages of the cellular respiration. So we need to know, like there are the 4 stages, right? So 2 stages I just wrote up. One is glycolysis. Second is pyruvate oxidation. Pyruvate oxidation. The third is Krebs cycle, and the last one is ETC. Which number in the diagram below represents the stage of the electron transport chain? Of course, the electron transport chain is the last stage where ATP is produced in the maximum amount. Okay, so the first stage, second stage, so as it goes up, so you can see up, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So you should know, like 1 is what? 1 is glycolysis. And also remember the places where they take place. Glycolysis takes place in the cytosol or cytoplasm, whatever you say. Number 2 is pyruvate oxidation. Number 3, it takes place in the mitochondrial membrane. Number 3 is the Krebs cycle in the mitochondrial membrane. And number 2 and number 3 in the matrix. Number 2 and number 3 in the matrix. And this is inner mitochondrial membrane. Don't just say like mitochondria, because all are taking place in the mitochondria, but their location is different. Use the diagram below to answer the questions A till C. Identify the process and describe the importance of taking place in the above diagram for cellular respiration is for all living organisms. So of course the process shown over here is cellular respiration. So be very careful for what they want. They want you to identify the process. So process is cellular respiration, and the importance, like you need to say just like the benefit, like what's the benefit. So of course they provide energy, and that energy importance is to provide energy, and this energy is used to carry on all the living processes, to keep the activities going on. Here you need to name the stages. You need to say if it is aerobic or anaerobic, where does it occur, type of phosphorylation, I mean if it is substrate or oxidative, what molecules you need, and how many ATPs you produce. So stage 1, it is glycolysis. It's written here on the diagram, by the way. Stage 1 takes place in the cytosol, while the 2 it takes place in the matrix, while the 3 takes place in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Okay, and then stage 1 glycolysis, stage 2 Krebs cycle, stage 3 electron transport chain. If it is aerobic or anaerobic, of course stage 1 is anaerobic, but sometime it can take place aerobically as well, while this is aerobic because it's in the mitochondria, and this is aerobic. Okay, then where does it occur? It's written already, it's in the cytosol. So it's in the cytosol. This one is in the matrix. Don't just say matrix, better you say mitochondrial matrix, and this one is inner mitochondrial membrane. I just wrote over here. Type of phosphorylation, this one is substrate level. These two, this is also substrate level phosphorylation, while this one is oxidative phosphorylation. Molecules needed, of course you need over here is glucose, and also we said we need ATP, and on the second hand stage 2 is acetyl CoA because this is Krebs cycle. Okay, this is ETC and this is glycolysis. Then here what do you need? You need NADH, NADPH and FADH2. So these are the molecules you need. How many net ATPs are released? 2, and this one, as I told you above, you can say 32. The process has 4 stages. We know from the beginning. One stage is missing, of course, that is pyruvate oxidation. That's missing, it's not shown. Okay, name that stage. Okay, we did the name. And right, how many molecules of free ATP are produced in this process? Of course 0 ATPs are produced in this one, so make sure you are clear about it. Describe using presentation the 3 phases of the glycolysis with the net energy yield. Okay, we know that the net energy yield is 2 ATP, and the products, we know what are the products. 2 pyruvate molecules are the product. Memorization of the structures and the molecules and the names of is not required. Okay, so most important over here is the 3 phases of the glycolysis, that what you have to understand. Okay, during study on glycolysis, a student analyzes its 3 phases as energy investment, cleavage and payoff. So these are the 3 stages. Be very careful. Stage number 1, energy investment, when you use 2 ATP molecules. Cleavage, when the 6 carbon molecule of glucose is broken down into 3 carbon molecules, alternatives. And payoff is like you produce 4 ATP molecules, but 2 is the net ATP. If the student focused on the phase that results in the net gain of ATP and produces pyruvate, which phase should they study and why? So of course you should be very careful, because we are talking about the net gain. So this is payoff. Okay, so this is payoff stage. So just go down. We have energy investment, no. We have energy cleavage phase, no. Investment phase, energy payoff phase, yes. Okay, so answer is C. I didn't read net all because as I told you, we need to look for the keyword, that is the payoff. Identify using visuals and representation how electrons are extracted in the series of citric acid cycle, which is also known as Krebs cycle. Why citric acid? Because this is the first product of Krebs cycle. We don't need to know it, but be sure why it is called as citric acid cycle. Include the inputs and outputs only. What is the input? You know, input is acetyl CoA. Acetyl CoA is the input, and the output is like 2 ATP, okay, CO2 and NADPH and FADH2, along with that the 4 carbon molecule, which will be the last product of the Krebs cycle. That's the output. Which of the following is or are correct about the citric acid cycle? Its reaction starts with the incorporation of acetyl CoA. Yes, that's correct. Produces CO2 during the process. Yes. Produces the highest amount of energy. No, it produces only 2 ATP. Only 2 ATP. So this is wrong. So 1 and 2 only. Calculate the total ATP produced by the process of cellular respiration. So, okay, these 4 stages, please recall the names from up. How many ATP molecules? So stage 1 glycolysis, so 2, stage 2 pyruvate oxidation, so 0, 0, stage 3 is Krebs cycle, that's 2, and stage 4 is etc. So etc here it is arranged now. You can put 28 till 32, anything. Okay, so total, you accordingly it will be the total. 4.4.2, describe using examples and visuals 2 different pathways of the fermentation, lactic acid and ethanolic fermentation, or the 2 different pathways that takes place. Which of the following in the process being used for energy production in the yeast? Of course, this is fermentation. And which of the following can be considered as a byproduct of the process of ethanolic fermentation? So this is, it should be 2 and 3, but there is no 2 and 3 given, so we will go for only 2. Thanks a lot for this.